restaurant, and it doesn't probably require a lot of external investment, but they don't grow that much. In technology business and healthcare and other things, which if there is really a need, then you need to scale. Because if you're not if there is a need, you can almost be guaranteed there is somebody else seeing it. If you're seeing it, somebody else is seeing it. It would require you to scale. And scaling means that you will have to basically attract investors. Doesn't have to be, day one you don't have to have tens of millions, but you have to have some funding. So I think that's where I would again go back here and say, if you actually if you're the world expert in that area, and you really are passionate, which you're willing to basically bet everything, and my wife Mariam is here, she would, and if your family is willing to actually also back you up just like she did, and if you can convince that this is going to be profitable for investors, you would be able to raise money. If you're able to raise money, there is something in this 4 circles that is not really working out. And you have to really be honest to see what is not working out. If it is expertise, try to get some of the team members. They may be able to give you expertise. If it is, you're not really passionate about it, try to do something else. If it doesn't make money, then again, find a proper business model. I think honesty at this stage really serves the purpose. But you have to take it to the brink. Literally, you have to be willing to die for it. Literally, you have to burn your boards if you're really, passionate. And then maybe, things work out. But if it's not, you change. I've changed multiple times. I've done things which did work, and I moved on within 6 months. I did invest in time, money, everything, family time, everything in it. And then I moved on to do something else. Yes, please.
So I have 3 questions. First off, how do you also, in the beginning, sorry. Just one second.
Where?
So I have 2 questions. The first one is, when you have an idea, so I have a problem that disclosing with somebody, being the idea is being stolen, and how would you deal with that as first one? And how do you find funding, like source for your funding in the beginning, like, on how do you approach your business or, investors to see, okay, I have something, and how would I execute it? I have all these things, but except for funding. How would you approach? Is it a good idea to, early on stage, because people, I feel like they will turn me down by saying, okay, this is not, so I really don't know how would I approach them. So those 3 questions.
Yeah, so ideas do get stolen. So there's the hard fact of life. And so you have to, think through it, that how much advantage you have till when you start kind of really going out and who you're talking to and all. It's just a fact of life, because a lot of people are very ambitious and they may be in your same area and it may turn on a light bulb for them. Doesn't mean you don't talk. You really have to, if you're ready to execute, you have, it is one of those things that, it's about execution. Somebody may steal your idea, you can outperform, out-execute, totally out-execute them. It happens all the time, and I don't think you should worry about that. Worry more about these 4 things. Again, I'm going to go back. If you actually have these 4 pillars, yes, people will try to copy you, guaranteed. But you should have to be ready to go fight the battle. So I think that's actually important. And your second question was?
How do I approach?
Yeah, networking. So this is certainly doesn't happen that you have an idea all of a sudden, you're going to push a button, investor will not pop from the top. So events like these, Open is happening next weekend, great forum, and you will see 700 people showing up there. And you should not just limit to this community only. We are humans, and we should go and meet any other community. So I think it's more about you going out there and then building the relationships over time. And I think you're just lucky that you're in Silicon Valley. You can try that in 1 hour from here. Go to Pleasanton, you can't do it. You go to Sacramento, you can't do it. Let alone go to some other country. So you're blessed to be here. Just use it. Yes, please.
First, thank you for the session. It was really good and really helped me. But I still have one question. How did you introduced entrepreneurship in the school level, and what kind of skills would you try to develop?
So some of the most creative things actually happen when you're young. Why? Why? Because you're seeing trends that we oldies don't see. For instance, even cloud computing, I was actually, and this is a true story, I was lucky in some ways that I went to school back after my, Miriam allowed me to go back to, Boston to go back to school after my course. And over there I was watching, MBA students, how they're using cloud apps. I mean, I was a mentor to MBA students there, and they were doing all their homeworks in, Google Drive. For me, Google Drive is like, what is it? Because, coming from a very rigid corporate environment, in Intel labs and all, didn't know what it is. And all this, what I realized that 6th graders, 8th graders, 10th graders, they're all using Google Drive to write documents and sharing and all that in schools. Now that trend, you're seeing it firsthand. I was not seeing it. We're just lucky to saw it. So I think you will see that some of the best companies in the world, or best innovations in the world, happen from people who are young. Just like in sports. You look at Zuckerberg to Bill Gates to, they were very young, Michael Dell. They saw some trends, how their peers were using technology, or they wanted to use technology, and the gaps in there, and they basically reached out and they built something. So if I were to give you an advice, would be just try to, on the top right circle, to see your fellow students, what can they use to make their lives easier and better. And from there on, to see whether you can build something which is going to change the world. And hopefully you can educate some of our oldies also, what are the new trends coming.
What are the biggest challenges?
You have to switch it on.
What are the biggest challenges you faced while starting a startup, and what are the challenges you faced while you started the company, had the team all said and done?
Yeah, so challenges before starting and during starting, right? Before is very similar to questions that you're asking. A general question that this is before starting challenges. What do I do? I love this thing, but I don't have expertise in it. It looks very cool. Or I think I'm really passionate and I can build this thing, but nobody is willing to back it. Very exact same challenges, no difference. We are all humans, we're all the same. And they're all exactly, we'll go through the same phases. But actually then being honest at that time and not giving up. And luckily having the backing of your family and all to actually pull it through. And luck has to, no question that luck has to help you. You can't take credit for everything. You have to do things, but then the luck has to help you. So no question, I mean, starting challenges is exactly the same. Now, executing challenges are every day. There is no, it's not like you go on, on a highway and put a cruise control and you have money raised and it's going. It's totally a misconception. You would be, every day, there'll be 5 challenges on your desk. Every day, I can guarantee you. Whether it'll be some issue with the team, whether it'll be some issue with the competition has turned around and launched something which you thought you were going to be launching, whether it is some upset customers, whether it is you thought the product should work this way and you had defined it the right way and now it's popping up, it's just not exactly the same. There will be, like every day, this is one of those planes you're flying which has almost no controls. And you basically are already always on the you kind of have to manage it. It's kind of like that because there is no system in place when you're starting a couple of people. There's no system in place. You're kind of growing right off from there to not only build the products, but build systems around it, everything around it. So it's actually full of fun challenges. And if you love to, I mean, frankly, your purpose of being, right? If your purpose of being is very clear, your purpose of being is to solve all those challenges. And you will not be tired. You will be tired physically, but you won't be given up tired. And you will have energy to actually pull it through. So no question, this is not for the faint of heart.
I have a couple of questions and then we can go to him also. how do you fight your inner demons as you're looking at your ideas? How do you fight the inner demons? That is first question. And the second one is, how do you transition from where you are working today and family fears, essentially what will happen to the family from time perspective, money perspective, kids' future, etc. as I go to the startup, which is an unknown land, right? How do you build essentially the momentum or enough energy to take the leap of faith and go to the other side?
The biggest demon is the fear. And that biggest demon is, frankly, is going to be you will have to deal with it. Fear is not something that naturally. It's not that you don't have fear. You're starting a company, you're leaving your job, and you don't know whether there's going to be a market. You don't know if there's going to be money for it. Fear is absolutely natural. The question is whether fear, does it give you what emotion does it evoke? That fear can evoke, let me run away from it, like a flight, what psychologists call a flight emotion. Like, I'm afraid, I'm going to run. Or sometimes fear can actually give you a different emotion to say, fight. Yeah, I'm afraid of my survival. It means only way to survive is actually to fight. So the question really is that what fear, what actually evokes. And if you actually are in, think of this way, physically, if you're actually total dark, if I drop you in some place which is totally dark, I guarantee you'll be afraid. Almost every one of us will be afraid because we don't know what the hell is around us. We're kind of not used to it. And startups are almost like that. You're totally in dark, you've been dropped somewhere, and there's no Google Maps to go from here to there. And the emotion that if the emotion that is getting evoked is actually your survival to fight, then I think you'll be okay. Then that fear is actually extremely beneficial for you. If that fear emotion is causing you to kind of give it up and be done with it, then it's sad in some ways. So that's the biggest demon you're going to be fighting. Like all of us fight that. And the second thing is, if family is not supportive, it's not possible. It's just doesn't happen. If my wife didn't support me when the first time I was doing it, she was expecting. And I was about to leave my job, and she has a job, and she just went out of law school. And literally we had no means, almost no means, right? So, and you're leaving a job. At that time, if she didn't say yes, go ahead and do it, in fact, it would probably not happen. And that was not just one time. I almost was never home. This is a fact. I have 3 kids, alhamdulillah, but I didn't get to spend that much time. But I was willing to actually, and my family was supportive, and the kids were supportive. But you have to be ready for it because you are literally going on a mission. When I said mission on the right side, I really actually meant it. This is your mission. And if you don't have that, success is not going to come because somebody else will have that mission and they're going to beat the crap out of you. Yes, please.
Yeah. Jazakallah khair for the session. Really appreciative of that. This could be more of a market question. If you were to look at the IoT space and the connected home systems, the 2 biggest challenges that we have is big data and security. Now, since you come from a security space, my question would be like, what would it take, with respect to bringing the confidence in the public, that security is an issue, but we have solved it, so that the big IoT wave can catch up.
So, first of all, that's true. I think on the IoT is for the people who are not. IoT is Internet of Things, which means any device that you can, maybe wearing here, or even in your Tesla car is Internet of Things. Even your Nest, any of these devices, cameras at your home, if they're connected to the internet, and if they can send some data out and can get some instructions back, they're classified as IoT. And the fundamental issue there is that IoT devices, like the bands here, or the cameras at home, or the Nest device, or those, you have Alexa from Amazon at home, they fundamentally have your intimate information about you, fundamental information. It may be your medical record, it may be what you're talking in your kitchen because Alexa is listening. It's always listening, recording for 5 minutes if you know. Or your Nest which actually has a mic in it, so somebody can listen into your home, or it may have a camera in it, and you don't know somebody's actually already looking at your home inside, and your medical data and all that. All of that is actually at stake if you don't have the fundamental security technologies around it. So I think what the posture that what you suggest is definitely correct. I mean, security is not up there right now, but I don't think that today is an impediment to adoption. And I'll give you an argument for that. When PCs came, PCs were better than typewriters. Adopted in a heartbeat, right? Typewriters businesses were just gone. People who were doing business were just gone. Why? It was very insecure, right? All kinds of viruses and crap and all these things on those, right? But people still adopted it because the benefit was just immense. So IoT, I think, is at the cusp of that realization. Security is not going to be an impediment in its adoption. It's going to be that there are going to be cases of hacking and somebody taking over your data, and all of that is going to happen. And when that happens, then a massive adoption of security is going to happen there, because people all of a sudden say, I need to actually have this system in place. So market opportunity is there, and it's not an impediment. And if you're looking at some of those things, it certainly is a viable things out there. But there are a bunch of companies who are looking at that.
First of all, thank you so much for coming and for talking about this framework. It's very helpful and beneficial. So the question I have is, do you have any thoughts around managing your time between a job and your family commitments and then trying to start something by yourself?
Yeah. So the simple answer is there is almost no balance. If honest answer is, I can give you some sophisticated answer. You have to figure out a method, which my wife right away will say, no, that's wrong. I have not figured it out, and I don't think anybody figures it out, because if you're talking to Michael Jordan or some guru of an sport, I don't think they really care. Other than that, Stephen Curry or something, that they don't really care. The game is it, and that's it. The rest things, yes, they can spend some time as it goes along, and the system around you has to support you, because you're way out there. You're an anomaly, and the system around has to actually support you to let be this an anomaly. Because if they don't do that, they're going to pull you back, essentially, from being what you could be. So very essential for your parents, for your siblings, to your wife, to your kids, to actually let you be. Not everyone can be or don't want to be.
So you need to really believe in what you're doing.
Totally. This framework, just look at it. If you totally don't believe it, if you don't believe in it, I would say don't do it, because you're going to give it another way, somewhere. Do something else. I'm not suggesting you should do it at all. Find something that you really believe in.
Assalamu alaikum. So nowadays, a lot of people with a lot of ideas basically want to do their stuff and probably have all of these 4 elements. One of the things that people have to grapple with is the excess of information. There's too much information available as well. And many times people basically cannot grapple with that. They say, okay, maybe whatever I'm thinking about is something that somewhere is doing it. How do I find out that whether people are doing it or not? And many times people just give up at that phase as well. So what is your input regarding what is a proper stage when we should worry about the big picture, and how we can basically ignore the big picture and just get the focus to get something done?
I think this is an excellent question, because the level of competition actually has gone higher. When I was doing Alberto or something else, or like Chorus or something, you won't have that many competitors. And the fact of the life now is that you'll have competitors, actually more than what you desire to have. Some competition is good because it's kind of validation that many people think the same way, and they're going to build the market together, because their money is going to be getting spent in marketing for the same message that you want to give, and it's all good, because you're not going to take 100% of the market most of the places, unless it is network effect kind of a business. So if you're taking that as a competition as a fact of life, then you just have to see that yes, there's going to be other companies. Now, if somebody has taken so much of a lead on you, on that idea, that they are like 5 years ahead of you, or they're an incumbent, and all of a sudden you thought of it, genuinely thought of it, you never didn't know about them, and genuinely thought of the idea, and then you figured that somebody's done it like 5 years back. Okay, do something else. Because in technology,